Hello. So we are doing one of the most important topic from political theory, and that is justice. My name is Malti Devi, a faculty from Polygrade. So let's move with the conception of justice. So justice is a very foundational concept, as we all know in political theory and practice, but it is very subjective in the sense that what justice means to me can be a different conception from what it means to me means to you. For instance, suppose uh, I am a businessman or woman and I want to like make a industry in a forest. So for me, justice means that I have my freedom, my right to do business, justly, fairly, in any time. And on the other hand, the one who lives near the forest or the forest dwellers, for them, this does not mean justice, but this is injustice, because this will lead to their displacement of their native place, their livelihood and all. So this is a very vague example, but a very important to understand how justice is very subjective. For justice, we know that the literal meaning means fairness, rightness, or even what is morally correct. So, this is where the political philosophers, political scientists, and theorists have come to a consensus. So, justice means very subjective. So, how we will go into justice, which is consensual by all, that is to understand what is morally correct. So, displacing just to set up an industry is not morally correct. So, we will come into a conception of what is right and wrong. Okay. So, in political philosophy, justice means the distribution of resources. Distribution of resources in the sense that there should be not a concentration of wealth in the few people or in the hands of few elites. So each person getting his due or right. Again, if I say that there should not be concentration of wealth in few elites, but what if I'm saying that the amount of wealth or the concentration of wealth should be distributed to all equally? We may agree at the first instance, but the question raises that I might have done more hard work on generating that resource, and person B have not done that much hard work on generating. So should we get the same amount? You'll say no, because this is injustice, right? So the important word is due rights, due. The due stands very important, because what you deserve, that you must have, that means justice. And according to D.D. Raffel, justice is genus like two-faced concept, which has its legal meaning, what is just or unjust, and at the same time that legal meaning carries a moral burden, what is right and wrong. Okay, so when you call about Raffel, you have to D.D. Raffel two-faced concept, because question usually comes that who is saying that justice is a two-faced concept, or who is assuming that justice has both a legal and a moral face. So it will be D.D. Raffel. Now, one of the most important person is John Rawls, who holds the view that justice is the first virtue of social institutions. And as Rawls said that it is the first virtue, Plato says that it is one of the virtue. There are four virtues for Plato, which we'll do later. And among them, the third virtue, like one of the virtue, is justice. But for Rawls, it is the first virtue. So understand the complexity. If it asks who says that justice is a virtue, one of the virtue, it's Plato. But who says that justice is the first virtue of social institutions? It is Rawls. Clear. Now, we'll do some definitions, because usually the question comes like who said this, or match the following about who is saying that and all. So Plato says that Justice means every person should remain at the station allotted by nature, which means he should fulfill the duties for which he is capable. That means that Plato is associating justice with duties. If you do your duty well, I'm doing my duty well, it means we are doing justice. And justice is one of the virtue of the ideal state, as we have already discussed for Plato. Secondly, for Hobbes, justice was or is following the authoritative order of the state, because Hobbes के लिए state is the social contract, and in that social contract what means justice, that if you follow the order of the state, because state comes from our contract, we have made that, we have kept the sovereign, we have made the state, so we have to follow the order, and that is what it means justice. Utilitarianism, one of the concepts which is propounded by Bentham, he said justice is based on hedonistic calculus, that is Felicephus calculus, where justice depends on that some activity, if it is giving you more pleasure, and less pain, it is giving you a more sense of justice, then it is called justice. Okay. And then Marx comes and he calls the element of justice from a more class based struggle. And he talks about the need based justice, that from ability, we need to move to the needs. That if you need something, again, needs and wants are different, right? Because wants is something your desire, need is something which is very basic to you. So Marx comes to this need based justice concept. Okay. So justice is, for all these thinkers, is more of a redistribution of the resources. Now there are two conceptions of justice. First is procedural, second is substantive. We'll go with the procedural first. As the name suggests, procedural justice more of is based on application procedure. Okay. Like what steps you are following in the social institution or in society to give justice. Okay. It means allocation of resources, the process. Okay. And this allocation of resources need to be a just procedure. Okay. So it doesn't matter who wins if the rules and the procedures followed in the race are just. So this is Norman Barry, who says that the outcome doesn't matter, the procedure matters. So procedural justice treats the rules of market economy as a model for human behavior. Okay, so this is what justice means, and this procedural justice is, believed by Herbert Spencer, Frederick Hayek, Milton Friedman, and Robert Nozick. And these Friedman, Hayek, Nozick, these are also negative libertarians, though. We'll come to one by one. Spencer denies the state's help, okay, to the handicapped. What he says is that this help is unjust, because the genuine people who have actually generated the resources and all, they have not got what they deserve, and why we should, help to the handicapped. Okay. He goes with the theory of social Darwinism, means the fittest will survive. Okay. The handicapped is handicapped because the nature wants, because everyone can't survive, right? So nature have chosen us who are not handicapped, and nature have chosen them to be dead, or they cannot survive. Okay. Now, Hayek comes with the idea that state should positively promote competition. There should be a free market competition, and there should be no social welfare. Okay, because in social welfare, the one who do not do any hard work will get freebies. This is not accepted for Hayek. Okay. Thirdly, Nozick, the one who writes in Anarchy, State, and Utopia. This is one of the book of Nozick, where he gives his entitlement theory and argues that state should not redistribute the property. State should do once, and then state should leave others at their own, and they will do whatever they will do with the resources. State should not interfere in redistribution, and this is what he means. He again, this logic comes where he further goes and says that progressive taxation, which states put today also, taxing the richer, and putting welfare resources and all for the poorer. This is wrong. This is a bonded labor. This is what Nozick says. We'll come to the entitlement theory in detail. Then comes Friedman. Friedman goes to the extent of saying that competitive capitalism is essential condition of freedom and opposes all the measure of human welfare and social justice. He says that there should be competitive capitalism, free market, okay? No human welfare, no social justice, just like Hayek. Now, these all, theories of procedural justice is criticized by C.B. Macpherson. Now, who is C.B. Macpherson? C.B. Macpherson is a communitarian. He says that, this procedural justice destroys the creative mode of freedom. Okay. And, he was the person who also criticized the libertarians as positive individualism as well. So he says that what type of freedom is destroyed of human beings who are constrained to employ their skills and talent to cater to the needs of the market instead of pursuing their own goals. Cool. We'll come to now substantive justice. Substantive justice, of course, focuses on the outcomes, just outcomes. Okay. Procedure also matters, but what more matters is the outcome. So just procedure is not sufficient. We also have to go into the outcomes. So real test of justice in society is ascertaining whether the poor and the privileged have got their opportunities at the end. We are able to allot what they want at the end of the day. Are we able to do that or not? This is the concern of substantive justice. So here comes the role of the state in ensuring the outcome of the result or the results must be just, and the state needs to constantly redistribute the resources. Okay. So Rawls' theory of justice will go into detail where we see the third principle of difference principle as one which was inspired from the substantive justice. Now comes Rawls' theory of justice. A very important theory is contribution of Rawls on justice. In this book, A Theory of Justice, which he started, and he just critiqued the utilitarian theory of justice, which was based on quantitative measure. And he says uh, that justice is the virtue of a good society, and it justice must be concerned at first with the distribution of the primary goods. Okay. And this primary goods include two type of goods. One is social, all those goods which are distributed by the institutions like wages, wealth, opportunity, material goods, which we get from the social, and natural like health, intelligence, imaginative power, and all, which are not given by the social, but it is definitely affected by the social, because any restraint or constraint on the social institutions will get affected to the natural goods. Now coming to Rawls' theory of justice, more advanced, he presents a very hypothetical contractual situation that we all are, there is a veil. Okay. Veil, you understand? uh, kind of parda. Okay. There is a veil, and we are all behind that veil. And behind that veil, it is known as, the position is known as the original position. Okay. Where we do not know our gender, we are not aware of our race, interest, key skills, socio-economic class, on which family we are born. We don't know anything. Okay. We don't know our position in society, but we are aware of some facts like, our social life, like some knowledge about, economics and psychology, some knowledge about science, some common sense. Okay. What is a bit of good and all. So we will, make some principles there. Okay. And because we don't know our interests, we don't know about our position in society, the interest or the consensus will be the maximum interest of all of us, that will be, good and well for everyone, not for particularly me or you. right? So, and we will choose between several alternatives what is the best principle, and this is what he calls it maximizing the minimum outcome. Okay, by choosing between the alternative and picking up the best out of the worst. He gives two principle of justice. One is liberty principle, where he says that everyone must have equal right, freedom, and second is the socio-economic inequalities, that we have to give the least advantage the benefit, more opportunity, and there should be no discrimination in terms of opportunity. But this A and B principle are a bit contradictory, right? So he makes a lexical order. What is lexical order? This order cannot be destroyed in any terms. Okay, you have to follow this order, and in this order first comes liberty, second comes opportunity principle, and third comes difference principle. And this three have to be followed, one two three. Like, it cannot be like first difference principle or second liberty principle. No, first should be liberty principle. We have already got that. What is opportunity principle? That when we are not discriminated in terms of opportunity, everyone has equal opportunity. Still there will be someone, or some group who are being disadvantaged at the opportunity, and for them we have to create a difference principle. What is this difference principle? That the one who are the least advantageous in the society, we have to give them more benefits. It's kind of a protective affirmative action. Okay, now we have already discussed about this. Okay, so uh, difference principle, when inequalities are there, we have to, like, the social burden should be less and less. So overall, through this difference principle, Rawls is defending the welfare state, for whom justice means fairness. Okay, and good society is the cooperative venture. You and I will cooperate for the mutual advantage for both of us, because we don't know our original position. And this natural distribution, it is neither just nor unjust. It is the institution of society which is controlled by human beings that makes it just or unjust. So after we have created all this contract and all, then our veil will be open and we will live according to this contract, which is the maximin. Got it? Now, Brian Berry, okay, he writes a book, The Liberal Theory of Justice. Okay, he says that doubted the rationality of individuals as argued by Rawls in original position. He further says that it is very difficult to define the least advantage section. Now, what we have done in the difference principle, that we have to give greater advantage to the least advantage sections. How will you define the least advantage section? This is a very critical aspect. What Brian Berry calls. Please remember the book's name quite hard, because this is what CUET would ask. Okay. Now, this Rawls theory, which we have understood in detail, is criticized by Macpherson in his book Democratic Theory, Essays and Retrieval. And he argues that, uh, you know, Rawls is giving a defense of a liberal democratic welfarist, liberal democratic capitalist welfare state. And he says that Rawls is not giving a universal account of justice. Okay, he's just rationalizing beliefs, values, and all. And so, like, inequalities would adversely impact the individual liberty also. Okay, by creating the inequality of power in society. The libertarians also critique, like Hayek. Hayek says that Rawls' theory is a mirage, because for Hayek, again, the welfare is problematic, social welfare. Nozick says taxation is a forced or bonded labor. Okay, and he argues that if government tax anyone against their own will, it is unjust. Okay, and this is how they criticize Rawls. Coming to Nozick's entitlement theory, Nozick propounded this entitlement theory. Okay, there are three principles. First is just acquisition, second is just transfer, and just rectification. What means just acquisition? What we will do, we will first, allow to just acquisition. Okay, that there is some property and everyone will come and own some property. Okay, and you are, you have justly acquired that property, so no one can put anything on that property or demand that property back from you. Second is just transfer. Okay, if you have not acquired the property, what one can do, if I want to gift you an island, okay, that is my property, so I have voluntarily given you that island, or you and I have exchanged two lands. Okay, so in that case, you and I were willing and we have justly transferred that property. Okay, and then third comes, and this is also fair. Okay, first justly acquired property is fair, secondly justly transferred property is fair, third is rectification. Okay, if you have unjustly acquired or transferred, okay, property, so what will do that, a distribution is just is everyone entitled to the holdings they possess under the distribution. So if everyone is getting equal share, then only we will say this is just. Okay, so logic supports a minimal state and a very competitive market. And after that, after this three, beyond these three types of justification, like rectification, acquisition and transfer, beyond this three, you cannot acquire property or anything in other manner. Now comes communitarian critique of Rawls. Communitarian criticize Rawls' theory for its emphasis on individual rights. They say that Rawls, you have done more of individual a lot. Okay, you have completely ignored the community, society, one's social position. One cannot forget their social position and go into that original position. Okay, so they say that individuals find self fulfillment in their society, within the community, not in isolation. So one of the most important communitarian is Michael Sandel, Liberalism and Limits of Justice. This is the book where he criticizes and calls it Rawls' theory is, presenting an unencumbered self or subject, which is opposite to the notion of situated self. Situated self is the self which is located or situated in a society. In opposition to this, Rawls' self is very unencumbered, who is very isolated, do not have anything with the society. This is not possible. Second, McIntyre in this book, Whose Justice, Which Rationality, he criticized the liberal notion of individual as autonomous moral agents, and for him, individuals flourish only within socially established cooperative human activity. Only there they can have the conception of the justice, rationality, and all, not in the isolation. Feminist Susan Moller Okin in this book, Justice, Gender, and Family, says that family should be considered as the main unit for discussion of justice. If within the family there is no justice, there can be no justice in the society or in the state. So when you consider family as a private space and all, there can be no justice outside the family. Okay, and Rawls do not talk about injustices going on in the family or in the private sphere. Comes David Miller, okay, in Social Justice. He proposes three principles of social justice, each according to needs, rights, and deserts. Deserts means deserve. Okay, what one deserve. So these three principles should be main for distribution of justice. Okay, this is the concept of social justice. Now comes one of the most important critique which Rawls responded very well in another book, is global justice critique. Charles Baines and Thomas Pogge, criticize Rawls that you are being very narrow. Okay, you are not talking about the global redistribution of wealth, nor you're talking about the global structure and the requirement of justice and rights in the world level. Okay, so in response to this critiques, what Rawls does, he writes a book, Laws of People, in 1999. Okay, and he talks about how these conception of justice can be replicated at the world level and implemented at the global structure. Okay, and last book that Rawls wrote on justice is in 2001. He wrote that Justice a Restatement. He revised this a theory of justice on some points and gives a restatement of how justice means fairness. There he talks about fairness more. Let us quickly do some PYQs. First, according to Rawls, the correct principle of justice are determined by what? This was the 2025 question. There are four options: God, nature, connection of society, or the choice that rational individual would make in hypothetical situation. Second, knowledge without justice ought to be called cunning rather than wisdom. Who said these words? Okay. First is, according to Rawls, the correct principle of justice are determined by rational individuals who are in a hypothetical situation. Because for Rawls, the justice ka whole point was behind the veil in the original position. We'll make this, with using our common sense, rationality, will make the conception of justice, right? Very easy, directly related to the concept. You don't have to think that much. Okay. Secondly, of course, when we talk about, you know, knowledge as priority, wisdom, don't think twice, it's Plato. Next, Thomas Pogge, okay, these are correct, okay. In his work, Laws of People, we have already discussed Laws of People is written by John Rawls in response to Pogge's critique. So this can't be true, right? Second, in Eight Principles, John Rawls seek respect for human rights and dignity. Third, Rawls distinguishes between domestic, global justice, and Thomas Pogge argues that there is a gap between the global poor and rich due to global. Okay, D is correct. Okay, B is correct. C is correct. B, C, D. Three are correct. One is wrong because Laws of People is written by Rawls, and he gives 8 principles of Rawls, how human rights and dignity, duty, and there are like 8 principles which will, determine a liberal, good nation, society, at the world level. We'll go in detail in the next class into that. And also he distinguishes between, there's domestic and global justice and all. Anyways, now comes fourth. Match, the list. Rawls, we all know it's a theory of justice. Nozick, it should be Anarchy and State and Utopia. Adam Smith should be Wealth of Nations. Francis Fukuyama, The Famous End of History. Okay. So you have to match it in this way. A is 2, then this is the option. Cool. The book authored by John Rawls on justice in international relations is, what's that? Of course, The Laws of People. And second, the term original position is associated with, very easy, John Rawls. John Rawls is a utilitarian? Definitely not. He criticized it. Is a perfectionist? Not at all. Marxist? No. He's rather a social contractarian, because he says that in this original position behind the wheel, we'll all do a social contract to determine what will be the principles of justice, right? So that's it. Thank you so much.